how do you think of yourself? Do you always want the best? Treat yourself to the best. All the top players do. Diamond tables. It's what the pros use. Diamond Professionals. Designed by players. For players.
He hates it when I beat him.
Diamond Billiards.
After the USA's 12-1 victory a year ago, few pundits gave Europe much chance of winning the Mosconi Cup in 2002. After all, the USA was on a 6-match winning streak in this transatlantic tussle to decide the finest 9-ball team. But Europe's bounced back, winning the doubles in style and scrambling some unexpected singles triumphs. Now the home team is in sight of a major upset. But Americans in any sport never quit. It's going to be a nail-biting finish to the Mosconi Cup 2002. As ever, York Hall, a historic arena in the East End of London, is boiling with anticipation. Big support from the orange-shirted Dutch fans over to cheer on debutant Nick van den Berg in his next match. It's a vital singles, and the young Dutchman will need skill, aggression, composure, and some tips from his distinguished teammates.
Oliver.
We've got a problem, Steve. The Americans have been seen in London again. The first one we saw was Earl, and the others soon followed. The Scorpion, Johnny Archer. Double J, Jeremy Jones. The Dragon, Charlie Williams. Prince of Poole, Corey Deuel, and the Kentucky Colonel, Nick Varner. It's exactly the same outfit as last year.
How can I help?
I've been asked to put a team together to stop them. We've got a score to settle.
So who have you got?
The best in Europe. The Iceman, Mika Immonen.
Oliver?
The Kaiser, Ralph Souquet.
Can I take your order, sir?
Yeah, what is the sim of the day? Oliver?
El Nino, Nick Vandenberg.
Oliver?
The Napoleon, Marcus Chamat.
Taxi! Oliver?
Are you in?
When do we start?
We go now.
But I need my cue.
Don't worry, it's in the bag. Everything has been arranged.
And the others? Let's go to work.
You don't half sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Oliver.
So, two of the new kids on the block going head-to-head now, both needing a win to ease their teams towards the magic 12-point mark. Dutchman Nick van den Berg making his debut for Europe. Ohio's Corey Deuel in his third Mosconi. Here's John McDonnell.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a Mosconi Cup here at the legendary York Hall, Bethnal Green, all sponsored by Ladbrokes.com. It's a singles race to 5. Let's meet the players. Firstly, representing Team Europe, he's from Holland. He's Europe's #1. Would you please welcome Nick van den Berg? Now, ladies and gentlemen, representing Team USA, he's the Players' Player of the Year. Please welcome the Prince of Poole, Corey Deuel.
join your commentators Sid Waddell and Jerry Forsyth.
Two extremely aggressive players have now assumed the stage in the form of Nick Vandenberg and courageous Corey Deuel. I've seen Corey play a lot of matches, Sid, and this guy takes on all comers in the form of any shot on the table. There's nothing too tough for this guy to tackle.
And adding to that possibility of big pain for Ortman and his Euro team, Corey is a master at the break. Nobody reads or watches the rack break with more specific concentration than this man. Vandenberg could have a tremendous task, will have. First to 12 points, takes the Mosconi. Well, great break, but then in trickled the white. Dream start then possible for the young European. As we see again, just went wrong. It looked a perler, it looked productive, and then Whitey got the dropsy.
He just hit a hair too far to the left on that rack to stun the ball out to center table, instead heading right for the side pocket. And you're right, that's a surprise because Corey is normally the master of the break. In fact, at a world championship, he was making 2 balls on the break and then changed his breaking position. When I asked him why he would change after making 2 balls, he said, I didn't like the way they came apart.
That's a professional. Genius, infinite capacity for taking pains, and in pool, making somebody else have pain. But Vandenberg throughout this tournament has been encouraged by his mentor Steve Davis, who he played the pairs with, to actually play his natural aggressive game. Now, I think that might be an important factor. I don't think, to use a phrase from English 8-ball, I don't think he'll fudge.
No, Vandenberg's been a cool hand all week long. He's shown a lot more composure than we ever expected from this young man in his first appearance here.
Absolutely. I've seen rookies here, in Fabio Petroni's case, crying with attention, weeping with attention. This young man has composed himself and carried himself brill.
As you mentioned, Steve Davis has done a great job of mentoring him, calming him down, getting him used to the situation. Now he's pretty straight on this 3-ball. He's going to have to put some action on the cue to get it back up table for the pink 4, which, as you can see, awaits him at the bottom of your screen.
That's right. It's not anything to do with just potting this. It's spinning the white or giving it power or finesse for the next shot on, which is on the pink.
Whoa, that side pocket knuckle's going to catch him and ruin his day.
Well, that didn't ruin his day, but this has made the day look decidedly rainy because the 9-ball is in the track to the pink. I think he might just be able to hit, well, he can hit less than a quarter of the ball, which I think means that he goes straight. So that's it. He can't cut this. He's looking for the safety.
Yeah, he's looking to kick this ball up table. Ideally, the cue ball would then float over and hide behind that brown, or possibly float up and hide behind the 9.
Europe started on Thursday night with 3-zip in the pairs. 3-0. Echoes rang around the pool world. Now it's 9-8. Mosconi Cup still got a lot of juice to run.
Well, he failed in that safety. He has not hidden Corey Deuel from the 4-ball. And it's a thin, thin cut. But it's the kind of shot that Corey has taken on in the past successfully. At least it looks like he can clear that 7. Yeah, he's getting down on the shot. He can clear it.
Right, and he's striking with a bit of bottom and right-hand side for the track. Onto the
he would rather have,
ball. Yeah, one not have hit it.
Yeah, he would rather have missed that ball and played it in the side. He may still elect to play it in the side, but then he has to worry about the 9-ball getting in his way. So you may well see him send this ball down to the corner. No, he has chosen the side pocket. He'll bend the ball with top English to avoid the 9-ball, come off 2 rails, and be right back in the center of the table, take the 6 in the same side pocket.
Got a few emails about the jargon. The Americans refer to what we call side, left-hand side or right-hand side, as English. Spin. to alter the angle, either augment it or reduce it after contact or contact with the cushion. As Deuel trickles in the brown and continues the American fight back with the 9.
9-ball down, Corey Deuel, 1-0 over Nick Vandenberg, and really at the grace of Nick Vandenberg's mistake when he hit the knuckle on that side pocket.
Are you ready, Las Vegas? The Ryder Cup of 9-ball pool comes to the MGM in December. 2 continents collide in a matter of national pride. America are hungry for revenge after last year's humiliating defeat at the hands of the Europeans. Now, it's payback time. The Mosconi Cup, live from the MGM Grand between the 18th and 21st of December.
And as Charlie Williams, his pal, said earlier,
second rack,
as he said,
trailing by 1 rack.
Corey is up for this one. Vandenberg, only 22 years of age, from Amsterdam, Europe's #1. Wants to peg back with a productive break. Would like to get a couple down.
Facing the all-important break shot. It looks like he's come up dry, and oh, what an ugly cluster there is at the head of the table.
It almost reformed the diamond.
That is really going to be tough to get through. Somebody's going to have to separate those balls apart.
Race to 5. I was up in the American dressing room, practice room, just after Johnny Archer lost. Some long, tense faces. But Jeremy Jones just put a little bit of colour back in the Americans' chops.
Well, if Corey can strike that 1 ball and drive it into the, as you view it, the right side of the 6 ball, he'll do that, leave the 1 ball tucked behind that cluster and send the cue ball back up table. If not, he'll have to possibly kick into the 1. Let's see what he's got. Really quite a few options here. The safeties are going to be easy to reach with all those balls clustered together.
Crowd absolutely riveted, and I was picking up your point earlier when you and Jim were on about the sort of behavior of American crowds. I think Johnny Archer has not been to some of the places that I've been on my visits to the US.
Well, he's speaking of the pool crowds, which tend to be very reserved in the States. Certainly not the basketball crowds or the hockey crowds. Well, now, he really mishit that ball. He certainly did not want to leave Vandenberg right on the 1, because now Vandenberg can send the 1 away and leave Corey in jail. Just hits it so thin that the cue ball spins off with that right English, comes right back up into the pack. Now Vandenberg has an opportunity.
1-0 to Corey.
He's going to leave that cue ball right there, send the 1 ball well away. Now this gets really important. The way he's left that 1 ball, there's a possible 1-9 combination coming up, and then he wouldn't have to, Vandenberg would not have to mess with any of these clusters if he can take that 1-9. It's very important here that Corey strike that 1 ball and not give up ball in hand.
That's spot on point. Well,
foul shot.
At least he messed up the combination.
Was that partially in his mind when he took on the shot?
No, he was trying to hit the 1. You never want to give up ball in hand to a world-class player. But one thing, he's now on 1 foul. And with the ball still clustered up down there, Vandenberg could put him in jail again and try and 3-foul this game.
Ball in hand means you can put the ball anywhere you like on the Bears. As Jerry said, options here. You can go for second and then a third foul, which would lose Corey the rack. Or he can just measure. I like his style, I like his shape, I like the way he is not rushed into anything.
No, he's one cool character. He's just going to put this one in the corner, float the cue ball down behind the one, and get below the 2 ball to take the 2 ball up table. And that way he'll be able to send the cue ball up for the 3. Although right now at this angle, that orange ball is a big blocker for the path of the cue ball.
Absolutely, it's tempting to play a safety.
It is tempting to play a safety. It's also, well, he may be trying to force the cue ball through that gap. No, he's chosen the safety, and that's a great shot. Now the second foul comes into view. And also, now you've got a 2-9 combination, possibly into the side pocket. There you have a look at it. He just nestles that cue ball up to the 5 ball. That takes away a lot of the angle from Mr. Deuel.
That's the word, Deuel it is.
Now you have to wonder if that 2-9 lines up into the side pocket.
Not sure the balls are almost touching. Not sure that it does, no matter how you slice across the 9.
If it does line up, he may well take an intentional foul here and try and strike the 9 just to break up the combination. He'd like to break up. If he does that, he'll hit it hard. He wants to break up that cluster. No, it's not lined up. He doesn't have to worry about the combination shot.
So what's the plan?
Well, I just don't see a reasonable way to hit that 2 ball. If he does, he might be able to come 2 rails and drive into it. Tough shot to do. He may go off that short rail that he's close to with the cue ball and just try to break those balls apart. Go ahead and take another foul, but get rid of all of these walls that the balls can hide behind.
Is the danger there then they're dollying up an easy position on the 2?
Yeah. He's studying the 2-rail kick that we just outlined.
1-0. Deuel leads. Race to 5. 9-8 the overall. In a race to 12.
Looks like he's going 1 rail.
Got to be
that's almost
spot
impossible.
on. Perfect, yes. That was no more than what, a 5% hit possible on the blue ball. Very, very strange choice of shot, that.
Indeed, a very strange choice of shots. Now he's on 2 fouls. So Vandenberg has a couple of options. He can try to run his way through the rack, which is going to be tough with that 6-8-9, or he can look for a way to tuck that cue ball in between the 6 and the 8, send the 2 ball away. He's got a lot to study here. He has a lot of different things that he could play. I have no idea which one he's going to choose. Right now, it looks like he's trying. He would put the cue ball near where it. I mean, the cue ball near where his stick just was on the table, and drive the 2 rails up table and leave the cue ball between the 6 and the 8. Or he can make this ball and break up that cluster if he hits it real firmly. Always takes the chance then of winding up being hidden by another ball.
Remember, opponent on 2 fouls. 1 more and the rack goes to the European.
He's aimed up a safety. Very, very clever. He tucks that ball right up against the 3 ball to take away most of the angles that Corey would have to work with. Now Corey's going to have to spin off a rail or be in a very difficult cueing position and come over the 3 ball with his bridge. And by that I mean he would have to drive the cue ball down to this rail and then back up to hit the 2. That's really clumsy. He's going to go with the 2 rail.
And if there's a foul here, Rack goes to the opponent. Oh,
He did it.
Great shot.
But as he scratched, that would be a foul. That's loss of game.
Well, baffled faces on the balcony. The 3-foul rule. The crowd cheered that ball in, and they're not sure how to take that. I mean, they're pleased, but they're not going to show it.
That brought the crowd to their feet, but I tell you, the Steve Davis is up in the balcony just shaking his head saying, I can't believe this.
Absolutely. On 2 fouls, did the very hard bit, and then Lady Luck just said, no.
A great effort just to strike that 2 ball. You would never think that this could happen.
No, he was very happy for about 6.5 seconds, and then plunk.
Rack 'em up. Catch all the action from pool's biggest event of the year. The 2003 U.S. Open 9-Ball Championship. On pay-per-view. It's not a hustler's game anymore. These guys are real pros and play serious pool. So don't miss a single shot. Get your front row seat today. Let's get it on. Order the U.S. Open 9-Ball Championship on pay-per-view.
How do you think of yourself? Do you always want the best? Treat yourself to the best. All the top players do. Diamond tables. It's what the pros use. Diamond Professionals. Designed by players. For players.
He hates it when I beat him.
Diamond Billiards.
1-1 our score line.
The Americans a year ago had sewn up the Mosconi Cup by 8:30 on the Saturday night. We lost the day. 12-1. But this year, a totally different story.
This a race to 12 points. You get 1 point for each match that you win. Scoreline right now, Europe has 9 of those points. USA has 8. And Corey Deuel of the U.S. is at the table.
But there are no pairs matches. It's all mano a mano, bloke against bloke now. And the Americans have traditionally, for reasons maybe like Jim suggested, they get over the jet lag. But whatever, in the history of the Mosconi Cup, going back to '94, they have sparkled in the singles.
The Americans yet to enjoy a lead in this Mosconi Cup. The first time, as Oliver Ortman said, in 7 years that Europe has enjoyed a lead on the final day.
Any tricky travel? I don't think so. Yeah, Jerry.
No, not really. He's got a pretty good layout here. He just needs to make sure when he comes off the 5 that he doesn't hit it too hard and get hidden by the 7 from the 6. But Corey's not going to let that happen to him. And getting to that point is pretty easy.
Absolute dedicated player, fantastic natural talent. And even at the age of his early 20s, he's 24 now, but for several years now, he's been absolutely a genius in working out the exact power needed on the break shot.
An error there. He did not want to run into that orange 5 ball. Had he not hit it, he would have slid right past it and been straight in for the corner pocket. Now he's got to make the cue ball travel to get to that 6. Well done, Corey Deuel.
Who needs Amtrak when he can travel like that? Class act duel.
There's just not a shot on the table that generates any fear in this man. Captain Courageous, Corey Deuel. 7 ball down, drags the cue ball back for the 8. And he has pretty big area. He can land this cue ball in for the 9.
That's right, simple draw shot. Coming in the right-hand side. Keep bobble it! Incredible! Just when we're cracking him up is the best thing since sliced bread. He slices bad.
An unbelievable mistake from Corey Deuel. He just barely hits the edge of the rail before the pocket. That sends it into the opposite face, and we've seen that all week. These faces are not throwing the ball into the pocket. They're letting them juggle back and forth right between the jaws. Vandenberg takes advantage of the unforced error.
Beautiful travel to within a millimeter of where he wanted. What a turnaround. Instead of facing 2-1, he takes 2-1 lead.
Nick Vandenberg now leads by a single game in this race to 5 games. Corey Deuel thought he had that one in his pocket, and instead it goes across the pond.
Simonis is the oldest company on the planet Earth still in billiards. They've been there since 1680, and they are still there producing the finest billiard cloth the world can possibly play on in pool, snooker, and carom. The cloth of champions, it's played on most tournaments around the world. It's the cloth you see in most pool rooms as well. If you make your living off the top of the table, that's the product you sell. You'll put Simonis on it, and most of them do.
Where can you find videos of the best players in the world in their entirety and without commercials? AccuStats.com. How about 8-ball, 9-ball, straight pool, 1 pocket, and 3 cushion billiards? AccuStats.com. Only one place has it all. Check out our complete catalog on the net, 24 hours a day. Where do you ask? AccuStats.com.
The Mosconi Cup never ceases to raise controversy and excitement and tension. Here we are, 9-8 in the overall match in favour of Europe.
4, Europe to break,
And
leading by
classic
2 racks to
Corey
1.
Deuel. Look to be going to go 2-1 up against young Vandenberg here. And he missed a relatively simple cut on the black to dolly the black up over the pocket. And the young European lad, the rookie, stepped in to take the rack. And now comes to the rack, looking for a 3-1 lead.
He's got balls in the pocket, and he's landed square on the 1 ball. Great break shot. Take a look at this one. The cue ball just parks itself right there in the center of the table, and the 1 ball rolls up. You don't get them any prettier than that.
Absolutely. Massive bonding in the Euro team. An interesting psychology by Boss Ortman, the captain, said we've got to have fun. We've got to have fun as we play. We want discipline matched with fun. Corey's not having much fun at the moment, but this young man, to say rookies have come to the Mosconi Cup and suffered, but this man under the wing of Steve Davis in particular has actually been encouraged to play his aggressive game, to forget about the nerves and the jitters on the occasion and just play a natural game, son. So far, he's looking like an inspired selection.
It's going to require an error on the part of Nick Vandenberg to bring Corey Deuel back to the table in this rack. And he would have to work to find an error. These balls, that's a roadmap for you there, Sid.
Yep. Colourful language of the game never ceases to amaze a wordsmith like myself. The roadmap means go into cruise control. Every shot, just get a little bit of more juice and relaxation into his arm. The paradox is the one that says relax, but be just enough tense.
Got just where he wanted to be. He can let the cue ball roll over to the side cushion on the left of your screen and come back right out to the about a third way across the table for the 9 ball.
Simple draw shot into the cushion out. This couldn't be easier. 3-1 to Europe. Cue crowd.
3-1 Vandenberg, all because of a missed 8 ball by Corey Deuel in the game prior. And now Corey Deuel has to suck it up and get it together for this break shot. This one is big.
Big ask. Big player. big talent. But let me say again, look, it's never far away either way. But all good in 9-ball.
The crowd trying to charge Vandenberg up, stomping feet, football songs. This crowd is enjoying themselves.
Well, you raised a point earlier.
Rack 5,
They're pretty
USA
respectable
to break,
folks who
trailing
support
by
pool
3
in the
racks
States.
to 1.
We don't have pool crowds normally. That's the thing about the Mosconi Cup. It's the biggest and best pool crowd I think you'll ever get anywhere. That's why Barry Ahern, I think, invented the event and knew what would happen. The fans are used to English style support, and they give it plenty of vocals.
But my question to you is, are they this raucous during a snooker match?
Some people's supporters are. Ronnie O'Sullivan's fans, Alex Higgins' fans were. Yeah, there are certain elements in snooker. Not quite as raucous as this lot. In fact, there's a lot of people think that the image of snooker and that sort of behaviour code is a bit too staged for the progress of the game in the era of the Ronnie O'Sullivans.
Well, there are people in the States who feel the same way, who feel that trying to put a tuxedo on the game of pool is way out of place, that maybe we should be celebrating an outlaw image instead, like Harley Davidson.
That's right. It was a famous man who said, putting a tux on a pool player is like putting whipped cream on a hot dog.
I believe that was Fats that said that.
I think the man did, and the lads are out with the captain. Archer up there with Double J, Jeremy Jones.
Corey Deuel did quite a good job with that shot, moving the 6-ball out of his way. That had been his only problem on the table.
Sure. Looking set for then 3-2 inside this rack.
Corey Deuel brings the X-Rest to the table.
Don't know about the X-Rest. It's been like the X-Files for the Americans at times in the last 3.5 days.
Yeah, it's been strange. But Corey cruising through this rack. Out nicely for the 7-ball.
Simple into the cush to raw shot. Coming up with left-hand English to get on that black. Well, sort of pro that would put a glitch out of his head. He glitched on the black, and it's the exact same kind of shot. This is an easier clip, got to be said.
Straight in on the 9-ball now. Corey Deuel to draw within 1 game of Nick Vandenberg. Of course, now it is Nick's break. And if he breaks and clears, he'll be on the hill. That's what's going through his mind. Corey Deuel gets to sit and rest. See what happens on this break shot. This is an important break shot coming up here with our score line now 3-2 in favor of Vandenberg.
Yeah, the crowd playing their part. Maybe needled the Americans a little bit. Johnny giving Corey the "we need you, you do it" atmosphere. Fantastic. Could be here till the early hours. Easy, Jerry.
Yeah,
thank you.
Corey obviously feeling a little bit
Unit
better
to
about
break,
himself
leading
now.
by
Nick
3 racks
Vandenberg
to
taking
2.
a look at the balls, making sure everything's touching.
Right. 1 or 2 down, and a shot on the low ball. And you'll know, all around the world watching this, that the European is in the clover.
Plenty of balls down. And he does indeed have a shot on the 2, but it's nestled up against the rail. That is tough.
Absolutely. It's Velcroed. It clips, I think. It's got to be a feather, less than a feather clip. But what about position?
Well, position, the 3-ball sitting in a pretty good place for him. It's fairly natural if he makes the cut, if he decides to take this on, and I'm sure he shall. But this is a very missable shot.
Key to the shot is the pace. He mustn't bobble it off the cush. But these are knuckled pockets. They are not beveled. So the south side of the pocket could be where he trickles it into.
With left English, he was going to strike the rail first, come off the rail and hit the two, but he's missed the entire ball. And he's given Corey Deuel the break Corey needed to bring this match even, with ball in hand and only 6 balls left to clear on the table. Take a look. He wanted to spin off the rail and clip the two.
That was a long way miss as well.
Well, actually, he got deflection from his cue stick. When he hit the left side of the ball, the cue ball had to deflect out to the right.
Clumsy, because he's made one disastrous mistake on a black ball. Has Deuel, which handed the rack to his opponent. Can't see him making many more mistakes.
Corey Deuel in perfect line now for the 4-ball. Easy up and down to take the 5-ball. He's got 3 pockets. He can put that 5 in, all on the left side of the table.
Played with a bit of check side, narrows the outcoming angle.
Can float forward, take the 8 straight into the bottom corner pocket. Chooses to leave enough angle to be able to bump off the rail. He can either go across the table for the 9, play it in the same corner, or just hold it right there and play it in the opposite corner. He chooses to hold.
Simple bit of English to make it straighten out as it came out from the push. Level game. 3 apiece.
3-3 and a race to 5. Now it's a race to 2 games. The first guy to put 2 more 9 balls down is going to take this puppy home.
Talking about puppies, age 22. Best player in Europe, that's why he's in.
There's another look at that critical miss. Cue ball well away from the 2 ball.
How do you think of yourself? Do you always want the best? Treat yourself to the best. All the top players do. Diamond tables. It's what the pros use. Diamond Professionals. Designed by players. For players.
He hates it when I beat him.
Diamond Billiards.
I'm going to launch a 5 on the table, too, where I drop in 2 balls there. And then it's going to travel
Who
down
is
to
this
table
kid,
3, where I
anyway?
conclude with the railroad shot. Ha! 9 folded.
That was a great shot, kid, but you're striped.
Sim's new X1 Q-Stick Stabilizer virtually eliminates shock and vibration. Power, control, finesse at www.limsaver.com.
Corey Deuel will take this rack apart for us. He wants to avoid coming back into that side pocket as he's done once before. Would like to see Whitey parked right in the center of the table. It's going to go up and down the table. The 8 has blocked him from the 2 ball. It does not appear that Corey's going to have an opening shot.
Need for that. I think a little bit of respect is overdue.
Michaela Tabb, senior referee, gives the crowd the hard word. Let's have a little bit of respect. Well called on a day of judgment in the Mosconi Cup. Its fate will be decided in the next few hours.
Well, you could see how that 8 ball rolled up against the white.
Yeah, there's 1 or 2 lads here who down West Ham or Chelsea will cheer an own goal by the opposition. So I think you're going to get that feeling, especially when Europe desperately needed to show well here. 12-1 hammering a year ago. A lot of pride has been recouped here. So 1 or 2 of the vocals will apply when the Yanks make mistakes.
Corey's just going to give a lot of distance for Vandenberg to cover to put this 2 ball in the pocket. He's also taken away any advantageous angle off of the 2 ball to reach the 3. For him to get across the table for the 3, he would have to pound that 2 ball.
Push out can only be in operation after the break.
What Vandenberg may choose is to bank that 2-ball cross corner so that it would wind up safely if he missed it. And by that I mean to take the 2-ball across to here. He's going to put him back in, say, you take care of this problem.
Well, Corey must have known there was an even bet. That's what happened. 3-3. Europe leads 9-8 in the overall match. It's a race to 12 in the overall match. You couldn't ask for more tension in any sport. And we'll keep going on about it. Main Jim White and Jerry. Besides the luck element, never far away from the talented shoulders and execution of these players.
Oh, take a look at this, Sid. Corey's jacked up the back of his cue stick trying to get across the table. He's done it. He got all the way back across the table. I hope we get another look at that shot. That was unbelievable what he had to do with his cue stick to get that ball across the table. Just an unbelievable shot. Watch this. That cue ball dancing down the table, got all that spin on it to bring it back across the face of the table.
Well, so far for my money, the Varna shot, the kick shot that he struck into the middle when we thought he was just going to try and get out of a snooker is the shot of the tournament to me. Up till now, that's the shot of the tournament.
Absolutely. That's why this man is considered so brave on the table. He just will stand up there and take on anything you can hand him.
Stand-up kind of a guy. And here's me thinking that's something to do with comedy. Brilliant play here in the Mosconi Cup. Two young guns, 22-year-old playing a 24-year-old Deuel.
This tougher than it needs to be. This a bit of a tester here. Five ball in the corner pocket. Cue ball does lay naturally.
That was a harder shot than it looked.
That was a very tough shot.
Well, that's what they say about some of the greats, be it quarterbacks or cricketers. The greats make it look easy.
Watch that side pocket. Sid, that's unbelievable. After the shots that Corey Deuel pulled this rack for that 9-ball to slide into that side pocket as it has done before today for other players, that's just unreal.
Well, it was the white that had gone in the next hand, blood in the 9, one away from this rack, this dramatic rack. You don't need to go the old Vic, the new Vic, or the Queen Vic. It's all happening here drama-wise.
A cruel game. One man makes 8 balls, another makes 1 and wins the game, and it's simple one at that. This is a cruel, cruel game.
Plays the best shot of the tournament, and within seconds, disastrous in-off. That's an opponent.
Just a terrible stroke of luck.
So.
Rack 8, Europe to break, moving by 4 racks to 3.
These raucous European fans, Holland football supporters, a lot of them players of English pool who play in our pubs here, urging on the debutant, the rookie, age 22, El Nino from Holland, to get big and productive on this break and take Europe home in this particular match.
Well, he's made the 1-ball, Sid, and it looks like he's got a very clean shot on that 2-ball.
Little bit of hamper maybe with a cue. I don't think it's going to bother him though. He's only got top of the ball to hit.
It is a problem. He only has the top third of that cue ball to stroke, so he's going to have to come with some follow. Were he out 4 or 5 inches onto the table, he'd be drawing back into position.
If Europe can take this one, they go 10-8 up, which means the Americans would have to get 4, whereas Europe would only have to get 2. So hoist the metalware.
Vandenberg will not overdo this shot. He really doesn't have to do too much. He needs to just draw it back out to center table. No need to get too close.
Johnny Archer earlier said he had been fantastically impressed by how bonded as a team the Euros were. The senior members like Davis, Suke and Ortman passing on their great experience to the likes of this lad. But they have always said he had to play his natural aggressive game. He will not fudge.
Nick is taking the 5 ball for granted. He's just plotting the position that he wants the cue ball to assume for the 6 ball. Again, it's a center table quest here. Make the 5, bring the cue ball out. Boy, if he could get it back right where it is now, he'd be a very happy fella.
I like the way my co-commentator from Texas turns the jargon into poetry. Center table quest. That I like. And I'm sure the Euro camp and the fans are loving every bit of the composure of this flying young Dutchman.
Vandenberg's done the hard work now. He can force follow this ball and go back down for the 7, but I look for him to play this ball with a little bit of bottom left English and take it 3 rails back for the 7 ball. Indeed, 3 rails.
Said, be composed. Ortman told him, Davis told him, be composed, but don't lose your aggression. The captain's wishes bearing fruit.
Nick Vandenberg only 3 balls away from beating what many regard as the best pool player in the world today. What an opening. What a showing this entire week for young Vandenberg.
Inspired selection by the Euro selectors. A young man with composure, talent, class, and a heart as big as Moby Dick's.
Oh, quiet heart. He's done it. He's in position to take this 9 ball into the corner pocket.
A quarter ball clip to put Europe 2 points away from the Mosconi Cup, which they've only won once in '95. This for glory.
America now has twice the distance to cover to get to the cup that Europe has. Europe only needs 2 more matches. America needs 4. This road's getting tough for the Yanks. That's a happy crowd there, Sid. Vandenberg says, yes, sir. I told you I could do it. The European team gets ready to go down and congratulate him. The crowd going absolutely nuts. Stomping, singing.
Are we going to see a new chapter in the history of the Mosconi Cup? It all began back in 1994 when the USA took the trophy for the first time in a competition dedicated to the late, great Willie Mosconi. In 1995, 2 snooker players stepped into the limelight and stole the show. Jimmy White and Alex Higgins stunned the US with a midnight special to win the cup for the Europeans for the only time. Not surprisingly, the US hit back in 1996. Their pride-hurt Team USA squeaked in to snatch the trophy back, but it was oh so close. In 1997, the Mosconi Cup came to the York Hall for the first time, but the Americans loved the electric atmosphere and galloped home again. In 1998, it was a repeat performance from the Stars and Stripes Brigade as they dished out another defeat to the boys in blue. '99 and the same old script. Europe good, but not quite good enough. 4 wins on the trot for America. Into the new millennium, but the plot had the same ending. The same whodunit. The US done it for the 5th year in a row. A year ago, the home side won the opener, then lost 12 straight in the most one-sided match in the history of the competition. 6 wins back-to-back for Team USA. Could that be about to end?
Are you ready, Las Vegas? The Ryder Cup of 9-ball pool comes to the MGM in December. 2 continents collide in a matter of national pride. America are hungry for revenge after last year's humiliating defeat at the hands of the Europeans. Now, it's payback time. The Mosconi Cup, live from the MGM Grand between the 18th and 21st of December.
Pack 'em up. Catch all the action from pool's biggest event of the year. The 2003 U.S. Open 9-ball Championship. On pay-per-view. It's not a hustler's game anymore. These guys are real pros and play serious pool. So don't miss a single shot. Get your front row seat today. Let's get it on. Order the U.S. Open 9-ball Championship on pay-per-view.